Welcome to the Urban Herald.
It's good to be diving into this.
Yeah, today we're embarking on a really crucial deep dive. It's something our team here at the Urban Herald has been analyzing with, well, intense focus of violence against women.
hmm
Our research indicates that in 2025, we're honestly facing an escalating crisis. It feels like a national emergency, and it demands, immediate, comprehensive action from all of us.
Absolutely. The numbers themselves, they aren't just statistics, are they? They're real, pervasive, urgent.
You really are.
And that urgency, it's undeniable. When you look at the global picture, the World Health Organization reveals that nearly 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced physical or sexual violence.
1 in 3.
Yeah, that's an astonishing 736 million.
Yeah.
It's a number so vast, it almost feels abstract, doesn't it? Kind of too immense to really grasp.
And that's exactly why we're taking this deep dive for you today, because, while that global scale is daunting, it really manifests directly in our own local communities.
Right here.
Think about England and Wales. 2.3 million people experienced domestic abuse just in the year ending March 2024.
That's huge.
And the crime survey for England and Wales estimates that 1 in 4 women, 1 in 4, will experience domestic abuse in her lifetime. These aren't isolated incidents, you see. They're pervasive. They impact countless lives.
It's definitely not a them problem. It's profoundly an ES problem.
Exactly.
And these numbers, really, at their core, they represent shattered lives, don't they? Broken families. And, frankly, a collective failure to adequately protect the most vulnerable among us.
It forces us to ask that question.
Yeah, how do we shift? How do we go from just knowing this grim reality to actually genuinely entering a proactive mode, a preventative mode?
And that's really the mission for us today. We're drawing from a critical guide recently published by the Urban Herald, and our aim is for this to be a life-saving resource for 2025. We want to help you understand the subtle signs, recognize the many forms abuse can take, and access vital support. Whether you might be a survivor yourself, or maybe a concerned friend, or just a citizen who wants to make a difference.
Which we all should be.
We all should be. We'll get into everything from, say, the rising tide of digital violence, the insidious nature of coercive control. We'll talk about bystander intervention, key campaigns like the 16 Days of Action.
All crucial pieces.
Because as our #NoExcuse campaign puts it, we just can't look away any longer. There's no excuse.
No excuse at all.
So to really grasp the scale of this, maybe let's look a bit closer at some of those concerning realities from English-speaking nations. The prevalence, in our own communities, it paints a really stark picture.
It does. The data is depressingly consistent across the board. In the United Kingdom, for example, beyond that 2.3 million figure for England and Wales last year, tragically, a woman is killed by a partner or an ex-partner every 5 days.
Every 5 days, that's
Yes.
hard to hear.
It is. And then look across the Atlantic in the United States. Roughly 36% of women have experienced intimate partner violence in their lifetime.
Over a third.
Yeah. An average of 3 women are murdered by a current or former partner. Every single day.
3 women a day. It's absolutely devastating. And as you say, it's not unique to these regions, is it?
Not at all. The situation in Canada is particularly alarming. 44% of women aged 15 and older, that's about 6.2 million women, report some form of intimate partner abuse.
Almost half.
Almost half. And a woman is murdered by her partner every 6 days there. Then you look at Australia, 1 in 6 women have experienced physical or sexual violence from a partner. And on average, a woman is killed by a current or former partner every 9 days.
The consistency is chilling.
It really is. What's striking is that sheer consistency, these high rates, it just points to a global systemic issue, something that transcends borders.
It's clear this isn't just about crunching numbers. It's about recognizing the human cost, the societal implications.
Precisely. And a crucial first step, really, in prevention is understanding how abuse takes hold. Because it rarely starts with, a physical blow.
Right.
It often begins subtly, almost innocently sometimes, with behaviors that, they could be rationalized or excused away pretty easily at first.
You've really hit on a critical point there. Our research here at the Urban Herald constantly emphasizes the importance of understanding those early warning signs.
Absolutely. And there's a classic model for this.
Here's-
Psychologist Lenore Walker, way back in 1979, identified the cycle of abuse.
Okay.
The genius of it and the terror of it really lies in its profound psychological conditioning. It's this 4-phase loop that effectively traps survivors. Makes escape incredibly difficult.
Can you walk us through that cycle?
Sure. So first you have tension building.
Yeah.
You feel this palpable increase in stress. There are arguments, maybe a feeling of walking on eggshells.
Mm-hmm.
This sort of builds and builds until it culminates in the abusive incident. That's the explosion. Verbal, emotional, maybe physical abuse.
The peak.
Exactly. But then comes the reconciliation phase,
Mm-hmm.
often called the honeymoon phase.
Oh, okay.
The abuser apologizes, might shower the victim with affection, promises to change, it'll never happen again. And this isn't just an apology, it's actually a really powerful intermittent reinforcement. It creates these trauma bonds.
Trauma bonds.
Yeah, it constantly resets the victim's hope, makes it feel almost like an addiction to the relationship in a way. And then finally, there's a brief period of calm, apparent normalcy, which just further reinforces that hope that things will actually get better this time.
And that cycle just repeats.
It can repeat endlessly, yeah, each time strengthening the abuser's hold.
That explanation, especially the trauma bonds and intermittent reinforcement, really drives home why it's so insidious. But even before that full cycle maybe locks in, our reports highlight some early red flags, don't they? Things that can predict this violence.
Yes, exactly. A 2023 CNN report identified, I think, it was 16 key warning signs. These are behaviors we really need to recognize, ideally in the early stages of a relationship.
Like what?
Well, take control and possessiveness. This isn't cute, you know. It's not romantic jealousy. It's a cage being built around you brick by brick.
So what does that look like practically?
Extreme jealousy. I mean, constant monitoring of your activities, needing to know where you are all the time, controlling finances without any real discussion, that kind of thing.
Got it.
Then there's emotional manipulation. This is like a constant barrage of criticism, put-downs, especially in public, designed to just erode your self-worth.
That sounds awful.
It is, and it often pairs with gaslighting. That's where the abuser makes you question your own reality, your perceptions. We heard from one survivor who said, and I quote, "I started to believe I was the crazy one. I thought I was imagining things because he was so good at making me feel like I was wrong about everything."
Wow. That's textbook gaslighting, making you doubt your own sanity.
Exactly.
And often that's coupled with efforts to isolate the victim too, isn't it?
Precisely. Isolation tactics are a key strategy. They'll discourage contact with your friends, your family. They might criticize your loved ones constantly, maybe even push you to move away from your support system, your familiar environment.
Cutting you off.
Cutting you off. Another sign can be an escalation of commitment. You know, rushing the relationship, pushing to live together really quickly or get married. It's often about creating this sense of inevitability, trying to sort of trap you before you fully realize who they are.
Right, locking it down.
Yeah. And finally, any form of threats and intimidation is just a massive red flag. Obvious threats to hurt you or your loved ones or pets. But intimidation can also be more subtle, destroying your belongings, using their physical size to scare you, even just displaying weapons.
It really feels so vital to trust your gut feeling in these situations. Our analysis shows women often do have a negative internal reaction to these early behaviors, but maybe they don't recognize them as abuse yet.
That's very common.
And abusers, well, they often mask these red flags with exceptional charm, intense pursuit early on, which makes them even harder to spot, right?
That initial charm can be incredibly deceptive.
Now, when we talk about violence against women, it feels crucial to broaden our definition beyond just, physical assault. While bruises and broken bones are undeniable evidence, so many forms of abuse leave no visible marks. But they're just as damaging psychologically, maybe even more so.
Understanding this whole spectrum is absolutely key. One of the most insidious forms, and it's a huge focus of awareness campaigns this year in 2025, is coercive control.
Okay, tell us about that.
This isn't really a single act. It's a systematic pattern of behavior. It's designed specifically to strip away a person's liberty, their freedom, by controlling their everyday actions.
How so?
It can involve dictating what you wear, who you can see, where you're allowed to go, but also things like demanding access to your phone or social media constantly, controlling your daily schedule down to the minute, isolating you from your cultural or religious practices. It slowly erases your entire sense of self.
It sounds like a suffocating blanket, almost.
That's a really good way to put it, a suffocating blanket of control.
And we often see financial control woven into that blanket too, don't we?
Indeed. That falls under financial abuse, or sometimes called economic abuse. This form of control directly impacts your ability to acquire, use, or maintain financial resources.
So like stopping someone from working.
Exactly. Preventing you from working or taking your money, maybe running up debt in your name, destroying your credit score. We heard one survivor recount, She said, "He took my bank card and left me with just enough cash for bus fare to work. I had to ask permission for every single purchase. It felt like I was a child."
That just strips away all independence, makes leaving seem impossible.
That's the goal.
And in our hyper-connected world, we absolutely cannot overlook the digital realm, can we?
No, definitely not. Digital abuse or technology-facilitated violence, it's a rapidly emerging global problem. Some research suggests that 73% of women have been exposed to some form of online violence.
73%.
Yeah. The fact that most of us are always connected, always on our phones, unfortunately, has given abusers powerful new tools to control and harass.
What kind of things fall under digital abuse?
Cyberstalking, constantly monitoring your digital communications, emails, texts, social media, and, horrifically, sharing intimate images without your consent. So-called revenge porn.
It's terrifying how technology can be weaponized like that.
It really is. By broadening our definition of abuse to include all these forms, coercive, financial, digital, approve it, we can better identify the problem and, crucially, offer the right kind of support. It's not just about physical safety anymore. It's about a person's entire sense of self and autonomy in every single aspect of their life.
So, okay, given this complex reality, all these different forms, what does this all mean for someone who might be listening and thinking, this sounds like my situation, or this sounds like my friend's situation? Our analysis at the Urban Herald consistently points to safety planning. It's maybe the most important tool.
It really is.
It's like a life-saving document, isn't it? Something you can create for yourself or help a loved one create to navigate out of an abusive situation.
Exactly. And alongside planning, awareness campaigns this year have heavily promoted some discreet signals. Ways to alert others that you need help, especially if an abuser might be monitoring your phone calls or messages.
Signals, like codes.
Sort of, yeah. A really powerful example is the Signal for Help. It was created by the Canadian Women's Foundation.
Okay, what is it?
It's a simple hand gesture you can use on a video call, or even in person, to silently signal distress. You hold your hand up, palm facing out, tuck your thumb into your palm, and then you fold your fingers down over your thumb.
Okay, I can picture that. Hand up, thumb in, fingers down.
Exactly. It gained a lot of international recognition during the COVID-19 pandemic, actually, and it has helped save lives. There was a case in 2024. A paramedic in Beech Grove recognized it from a patient and was able to help her escape.
Wow. That's an incredible example of just community awareness saving a life. And there are codes for public places too, right? I've heard of some.
Yes, like the Angel Shot and Ask for Angela campaigns. These are codes you can use, often bars and restaurants, to discreetly ask staff for help.
How do they work?
Asking for an Angel Shot generally signals you need assistance, maybe help getting out of a bad date situation, while asking for Angela usually indicates you feel unsafe and need to be escorted somewhere safe or have a taxi called for you.
Good to know.
And another one, maybe less widely known but still powerful, is the Black Dot campaign. Just drawing a small black dot on the palm of your hand can be a silent signal for help to someone who recognizes it, like a healthcare professional or a support worker.
These signals seem like invaluable tools in that collective effort you mentioned to hashtag break the silence.
They really are. They provide a lifeline when speaking out loud isn't safe.
So beyond these signals, what are the practical steps someone can actually take to create a safety plan?
Okay, first step is usually preparing an emergency bag, or a go bag. This is a physical bag with essentials that you can grab at a moment's notice if you need to leave quickly.
What should go in it?
Things like money, extra keys, house, car, important documents, ID, birth certificates, maybe bank details if you can get copies safely, any necessary medications, and a few days' worth of clothes for you and any children.
And where do you keep it?
Somewhere safe, obviously. Somewhere the abuser won't find it, maybe at a trusted friend or family member's house, or perhaps a really well-hidden spot in your own home if that's the only option.
Makes sense. What else?
Secondly, digital security. This is paramount today. If you can, create a new email address, maybe new social media accounts that your abuser doesn't know about. Always log out of shared devices, clear your browser history regularly, and if possible, use a friend's phone or maybe a computer at a library or community center to search for help and resources online. Don't use devices the abuser might have access to.
That's really smart. And what about documentation? You hear that can be critical for legal steps later on.
Yes, absolutely. If and only if it is safe to do so, try to document every incident of abuse. Keep a journal, maybe hidden, with dates, times detailed descriptions of what happened. If you can, take photos of any injuries, maybe damage to property.
And store that safely, too.
Critically important.
Yeah.
Store this information somewhere the abuser absolutely cannot find it. Maybe a secure cloud storage service they don't know about using that secret email address. Or give copies to a trusted person who lives elsewhere. This documentation can be absolutely vital later on for getting support orders or pursuing legal action.
It's a lot to think about, but clearly so important for safety. Now, when we delve into violence against women, we also, sadly, have to confront the devastating impact it has on children.
We absolutely do.
Because children are never just witnesses to domestic violence, are they? They are victims themselves. The experience of living in an abusive home, it casts such a long, dark shadow.
It truly does. The research on this is consistent and heartbreaking. Children exposed to domestic violence, they often experience heightened anxiety, sleep disturbances, difficulty concentrating at school.
Yeah.
Behavioral problems too, sometimes increased aggression, sometimes withdrawal. Their academic performance can suffer immensely. They might even show impaired social skills or motor skills.
And the long-term effects.
In the long term, they face increased risks of developing depression, anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, especially in adolescence and into adulthood.
And there's that deeply concerning issue of the intergenerational cycle, isn't there? Where violence can sadly kind of perpetuate itself.
Precisely. Children who grow up in these environments may, unfortunately, internalize the idea that violence is an acceptable way to solve conflict, or that abusive behavior is normal in relationships, and that can, potentially, perpetuate the cycle in their own future relationships.
But it's not inevitable.
Right. No, absolutely not. And it's vital to remember that this isn't a foregone conclusion. With the right support, proper care, therapeutic intervention, children are incredibly resilient. They can heal, they can thrive, despite their traumatic experiences. Protecting children from home violence isn't just, a moral imperative, it's a societal one, is how we break this devastating cycle.
And the cost of domestic violence, it isn't just measured in human suffering, is it? It's measured in billions. The economic costs are just staggering. It places this massive burden on our healthcare systems, our justice systems, social support.
The figures are truly eye-opening. And they really underscore that addressing this issue isn't just the right thing to do, it's actually sound economic policy.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure. In the UK, domestic violence is estimated to cost around £23 billion annually.
Billion, with a B.
With a B.
Yeah.
In Ireland, some research found that the cost per woman over a 20-year journey from abuse to safety is approximately $113,475. And the national estimated cost was something like $56 billion. Again, billion.
That's enormous.
It is. In the U.S., the figure often cited exceeds $8.3 billion annually. And these aren't just budget lines, These billions represent the profound, often hidden costs of lost productivity, long-term healthcare needs, the strain on police and courts.
It's a stark reminder.
It really is. Ending violence against women isn't just an ethical imperative. You could argue it's one of the smartest economic investments a society can make.
And this is where maybe bystander intervention becomes such a crucial prevention strategy.
Absolutely crucial.
It's not about, like you said, being a superhero. It's just about being a decent human being, right?
Yeah.
Stepping up.
Absolutely. Bystander intervention, simply when community members, friends, family, colleagues, neighbors who witness abuse or become aware of it actually take action to help. It's incredibly powerful.
What does effective intervention look like?
Well, our data consistently shows that the most effective intervention is often direct support to the victim. This doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as listening without judgment, providing emotional support, validating their experience, offering practical help, maybe like a safe place to stay for a night or help with childcare, or connecting the victim with professional support services like the helplines we'll mention later.
Just being there.
Just being there. And what's truly fascinating here is that research also shows that people who have some personal experience of abuse themselves or know someone who has are often more likely to intervene and offer that practical support.
Interesting.
It shows we have this collective power,
Yeah.
We can create safer communities. But it really requires us to stop being silent, to stop looking the other way, and to act when we see something wrong.
And amidst all these difficult truths, these stark numbers, the stories of survivors themselves, they emerge as these incredible testaments to human resilience, to hope.
They really are beacons of hope. They show what's possible, even after unimaginable trauma. Take Beck's story, for instance. After years of emotional and physical abuse, she found the courage deep inside her to reach out for support and eventually leave that relationship. It just demonstrates profound inner strength.
Amazing.
Or Jamie. She's a professional fighter, and she courageously challenges stereotypes by sharing her story of enduring extreme abuse. Her story proves that abuse doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, regardless of their perceived physical strength or status.
That's a powerful message.
And Mia's story is particularly inspiring. She's now an independent domestic violence advocate and an author. She actually transformed her own traumatic experience into this mission to help others. It demonstrates the incredible power of peer support and turning pain into purpose.
These survivor stories, they must be what fuel the critical campaigns we see pushing the conversation forward in 2025.
They certainly do. They put a human face on the statistics. Campaigns like the 16 Days of Action Against Domestic Violence that runs from November 25th to December 10th each year, they're more important than ever.
That's the one with the orange theme.
That's the one. It's a global event. You see orange everywhere. Hashtags like hashtag 16 days, hashtag end domestic violence. It's a vital part of raising awareness and demanding change from governments and communities.
And other campaigns.
Similarly, the hashtag no excuse campaign, which we mentioned earlier, and Ireland's really powerful Hardest Stories initiative, they're ensuring that the voices of survivors remain absolutely central to the work, moving beyond just data to really humanize the impact of this violence.
So wrapping up, violence against women, it remains one of the most persistent, most devastating human rights violations of our time. The statistics for 2025, they are a harsh wake-up call, but maybe they're also a powerful catalyst for change.
They have to be. The resources are there. The emergency signals exist. And the stories of survivors, like the ones we mentioned, they show us that healing is not only possible, but it's happening every day.
So we need to commit.
We must all commit to a future where every woman, every girl can live in safety and with dignity, and that means practically actively supporting your local domestic violence services, challenging harmful attitudes and sexist jokes whenever you see or hear them, using our voice, all our voices to advocate for change.
Please share this deep dive. Share our resource guide from the Urban Herald. Talk to your friends, talk to your family about this issue, and maybe most importantly, listen. Really listen to the survivors among us.
If you or someone you know needs help, please use these resources. You are not alone. Help is available.
Let's run through those numbers. For the UK, the National Domestic Abuse Helpline is 0880-820-247.
In the U.S., the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-SAFE.
For Canada, you can find local crisis lines nationwide via sheltersafe.ca.
Australia has 1-800-RESPECT. That number is 1-800-737-32.
In New Zealand, you can call Are You OK? at 0800-456-450.
And for Ireland, Women's Aid is 1-800-341-900.
And please remember.
Yes, remember, in an immediate emergency, if someone is in danger right now, always call the emergency services 999 in the UK and Ireland, 911 in the US and Canada, 1000 in Australia, 111 in New Zealand, or 112 across Europe.
Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. You deserve to be safe, and help is available. Hashtag end domestic violence, hashtag support survivors.
It may be a final thought to leave with our listeners. If we consider just how many forms of abuse are invisible, the coercive control, the financial abuse, the digital tracking, what hidden signs are we, as a community, perhaps still overlooking? And how can we collectively sharpen our awareness to catch them, maybe even before the cycle truly begins?
That's a powerful question to reflect on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive from the Urban Herald team. We encourage you to stay informed and stay engaged with our continuing work on this and other critical urban issues.